Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure most of you know him, and if you don't know him, you have to fix it. I would like to invite to the podium one of the leading forces in the Israeli cyber, Nadav Zafrir. Nadav, come over. And again, I think we should have called the today program Inspiration, so Nadav is also a gentleman who inspired a whole generation of young people to go to cyber. And if not, then I promote you a little bit, so what's wrong?
Thank you, Yossi.
Go
Appreciate
ahead.
it.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Yossi.
You have 20 minutes and you cannot take more time.
All right. First of all, good morning, everyone, and thanks for being here. I'm just the warming up for a group of incredible entrepreneurs that will join us in a few minutes. I'm just going to set the stage for them and then get off because they're the future. So we are at a sort of a perfect storm. I don't think I'm telling you anything you don't know. The question is this another inflection point? I think it is. I know that I've been here for the last 10 years, and most years we've been talking about another inflection point. But it's the nature of the beast, right? This is the kind of industry that we're in. I think that there are good reasons to believe that we are approaching another one as we speak. First and foremost, this was spoken about at length today. Globalization is not where it used to be. Tensions, global tensions between nation states, between different economies of scale. It could be between the United States and China. We have our own war here in Israel. In this war, we have different players that have incredible power, not just kinetic, but also in cyber. So the inhibitions or anything that would have stopped cyber from being the first tool in the nation-state toolkit is no longer there. And for cyber criminals, legal frameworks, which we were hoping would emerge at some point, are not coming anytime soon. And so this extreme, I would say, tension between different nation states, between different economies, between different religions, state of mind, will encourage nation states and cyber criminals to be more bold, more courageous, and less inhibited. And then, of course, this last year is the year of AI. We've been speaking about AI for the past few decades, but I do think that Gen AI and ChatGPT is changing everything, and it's changing everything at an unprecedented pace. We're all using it. We're all becoming more and more dependent on it. And enterprise, businesses, governments, individuals cannot afford not to be incorporating in their networks some kind of AI, some kind of Gen AI. And we've spoken about this in the past. Creating cyber by design is extremely hard. The pace in Gen AI is so fast that at any given time, if you're a business leader in an enterprise, you're going to opt in to the latest and greatest technologies because you can't afford to lose. You can't afford to lose your customers. You can't afford to lose your optimization. Everything that comes with these new amazing tools that honestly we still don't understand. And this creates another layer of complexity. Complexity may lead to chaos. And as we know, chaos leads to an explosion of the attack surface. That's probably pretty good news for attackers. And AI, as we know, is also a double-edged sword. I mean, Gil was speaking about this. Others were talking about this. There's going to be AI for security and security for AI. AI for security is a huge opportunity because we've always been speaking about the asymmetric nature of the beast, right? The attackers only need to be right once. We have to be right all the time, et cetera, et cetera. AI does provide an opportunity to maybe change the balance between offense and defense for the first time in cyber history. Because perhaps with AI, you can be right all of the time. but I don't think it's going to happen in the short run. I think in the short run, attackers will be able to adopt AI capabilities to become more sophisticated faster. And so I think we'll see it become a little bit worse before it becomes better by using AI. And both of these together, I think, are a dangerous duo, right? And this is sort of why I think we're at a pivotal moment and at a perfect storm. Because this extra complexity and another blowout over the attack surface is happening at the same time, where the motivation and the capabilities are at an all-time high. And when these two things meet together, I think this may lead to another turning point or a pivotal moment in the history of cyber. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? I think we're going to see tremendous opportunities coming with AI at every field, including cyber. But given where geopolitics are right now, I think we should also embrace ourselves as we move from what Taleb calls from mediocristan to extremistan. And this is something that we should be thinking about. We're used to thinking about risk in bell curves, right? So what is the probability of something happening, and what is the standard deviation from there? And that's how we organize our risk metrics, and that's how we approach risk altogether. That's okay in mediocristan. We're moving to extremistan. We're really already there. And so these black swans are becoming very, very abundant. And that's something that we should embrace for. So that's sort of my message. I think it's an adventurous time for the world. I think it's a dangerous time for the world. But it's also an opportunity for us as investors in cyber, as entrepreneurs, as builders, as CISOs in the crowd. For us, this is also an opportunity. And we got to get better prepared. I think this is our time to shine. When I say our time to shine, you know, we're here in Tel Aviv in Israel, 6 months and plus couple to October 7th. The fact that we are doing Cybertech number 10 within this time, I think, is incredible. Thank you for the organizers. You know, Amir and Vardy, I think it's the right thing to do. Thank you for everybody that's coming here. I think innovation in cyber has never been more critical to the world. And I think we in Israel understand extremistan. We live in extremistan. We've always lived in extremistan. And I think we know how to find solutions for big problems, and we deliver in time of crisis. For the vendors, the innovators, the builders in the room, we did not lose a bit in the last 6 months. We continue to deliver to our customers. We're doing it faster and better, and that's an opportunity. With that, I think the best example of this opportunity is to speak to the real heroes, in my opinion, the ones that get out there with bold ideas, with a dream, with the understanding that their survival rate is going to be incredibly unfavorable, but they go out there and they build and they dream and they rally around people around their vision. So with that, I want to invite, first of all, my dear partner, Liran Grinberg, and two amazing founders, CEOs of company. First I want to invite from Dig, Dan from Dig, please come over, founder and CEO of Dig, and from Talon, founder and CEO Ofer Binun. Both are now part of Palo Alto Networks. I think they are the real heroes of our industry, and I think that they're also continuing to build a great industry and continuing to punch way above our weight in cyber in Israel. Liran, please take over.
All right. Thank you, Nadav. Liran here, one of the founders of Team8 alongside Nadav. We've been in this journey for the last 10 years, and we're a proud seed investor of both Talon and Dig. It's great to have you. The two companies, many of you may know, were acquired for a combined close to $1 billion in deals that closed just a few weeks after October 7th and gave a lot of hope to the local industry here. With me, Ofer and Dan. Ofer, founder and CEO of Talon, who pioneered a category called Secure Enterprise Browser, and before that founded Argus Cybersecurity, which were acquired by Continental. And Dan, founder and CEO of Dig Security, was a leading player in the data security posture management category and pioneered the world of data detection and response. So first of all, thanks for joining me. I want to dive directly to the exits. So in both cases, and actually those two deals happened in parallel, which is a very exceptional case, at least for us. In both cases, the conversations obviously started before October 7th, but were not finalized by then. And Palo Alto chose to go through and complete those acquisitions, although maybe some will say they had all the reasons in the world to think again about this. What, in your understanding, how did Palo Alto grasp what's happening in Israel? How do they think about it? Did it change anything in the deal process? Ofer, let's start with you.
So first, really happy to be here. Thank you, Liran. I think in general, the partnership, both product-wise and go-to-market-wise, started obviously long ago. And when you're thinking about kind of the match between the two organizations, about fulfilling the vision, bringing the enterprise browser to the market in scale, changing how we do network and endpoint security in a way has not changed, obviously, with the situation in Israel. So when you have a strong vision, when you have a strong partnership, when you have trust between the teams, the local situation obviously did not change the fundamentals of this partnership, and I think that's what has motivated the deal to go forward. And in a sense, look, the motivation of the teams to build something strong together is the core of everything and allows, obviously, to go through challenges as we have seen in Israel.
But nothing, not a call, nothing. October 7th happened all of a sudden?
Obviously, that was a topic of discussion, and there was strong statement from the leadership of Palo Alto that they believe in the tech, that they believe in the resilience, that they believe in the employees and the talent here. So these type of things are fundamental and obviously not changing. So it was a very candid discussion, and even as in the announcement, they've mentioned that they are doubling down on the Israeli ecosystem.
Dan, your perspective?
First off, I was in the Seychelles on October 7th. I wanted to get away during the actual due diligence so I can kind of run from being here in Israel and so on. And then October 7th happens. I woke up to a text from the CEO of Palo Alto, kind of empathizing with what's happening in Israel and kind of what's here. And eventually, what I believe in is they already had strong presence in Israel. Israel already had hard times and good times, but the perseverance and kind of the human capital that we have here in this country is unbelievable. What we can execute, even during times of war, I think there was one period of time that 50% of our employees were in reserve duty, and we still executed and we still sold to customers all around the globe and we still delivered on time. And I think that's kind of what gave them the confidence of bringing in more investment into Israel, bringing in more human capital here, doubling down, kind of partnering with the technology together. And eventually, as Ofer says, as long as you have kind of strong partnership in the tech, eventually we'll have better together stories. And we committed to them that we will make this acquisition successful. And I think it's already kind of bearing fruits, both with Talon and with Dig, of course.
I'm curious also on the perspective of customers, the CISOs out there, the Chief Information Security Officers that eventually buy Israeli security products. You worked with them a lot in your startup life, and you still work with them, I know, because we're close still in Palo Alto. What has changed on their behalf? How do they look at purchasing more Israeli cyber technologies these days?
I think at least the CISOs of the major organizations, if we're talking about Global 2000 and the experienced Chief Information Security Officers and CIOs, they are looking for the best tech. And in the case, for example, of Dig, which are leading their DSPM market, and in the case of Talon, when we're leading the enterprise browser market, the tech is superior versus the alternatives. And I think that is what today leading most of the deals. So knowing that we are resilient and we are going to support them in deployment and post-deployment, and that this is the leading technology, there is no reason to compromise and go to, for example, a US-based technology just because it's US-based. At the end of the day, they want to have the best tech, and the best tech typically is here. And I think also the perspective that we are getting is here. Hey, assuming that you give us the service that we expect, that you are committed to the successful onboarding and execution, and you are still continue to innovate in the speed that you used to innovate and still committed to have the best product in the market, there is no reason to back out from working with this technology in the industry here. And I think that's the perspective that we are getting. So a lot of excitement, a lot of inbound from customers. These type of things have not changed and actually even increased, obviously, now post-acquisition. So far, I'm pretty optimistic.
I'll also say that most large companies already have Israeli tech. I think it's easier in cybersecurity because at least 20, 30, 40% of their stack is Israeli technology. So they already work with Israelis, they already work with the Israeli product managers, and they've already encountered good Israeli sellers, bad Israeli sellers, but they kind of know the ecosystem, they know what to expect. So doubling down here and kind of buying another technology, a core technology, I don't think that's a big scare for them. I think in other industries it might be more difficult. If it's kind of the first Israeli technology that they buy, it might be a little bit more difficult. But we still had deals coming throughout kind of the war. I think a couple of days after we closed one of our largest deals. So that kind of showed a big commitment into the Israeli market. A lot of the CISOs care and ask what's happening in Israel and how it's being affecting us and kind of what's changing in our plans. And we kind of keep committing that everything is going to be okay and we will deliver and we will deliver better. I think that's kind of what makes Israel special. We thrive through hardships, and kind of all of us deliver throughout the good, the bad, the ugly, but that's kind of what makes us unique.
Both your outcomes were outstanding. Talon was an exit of north of $600 million in less than 3 years. I think it was the second largest acquisition of Palo Alto's in history and the biggest one in Israel. And Dig, the company was exactly 2 years old and exited for north of $300 million. It's really remarkable. So maybe for the entrepreneurial audience here, one lesson learned from each of you from this very fast, though successful journey.
In our case, I think the name of the game was to evangelize this new technology, especially when it's category building. There was no enterprise browser before Talon, right? And how do we bring this technology to the market? How do we get the confidence that this fundamental change of how you do kind of endpoint and network security, how do you trust an unmanaged endpoint, had a lot of kind of change in mind and change in thinking for the security and IT organization. So the only way to do it is really to be out there from the early beginning. So we had a very, very short duration of stealth, even to say almost none. And we have engaged and we asked for feedback and we have listened. So being out there was key component, if not the most important component, in my opinion, for the journey of Talon. Always getting the feedback, always hearing, understanding the struggles, always asking the why not and not the why yes. And I think that was a key thing for us, getting the feedback.
I would say that at Dig, every single product manager can recite kind of my mantra on how do we build in the early years of a cybersecurity company. And that's If it doesn't bring us to the POC or it doesn't win us the POC, we're not building it. And kind of that's a key mantra for any product manager. You always have to focus on how do you spend your time. So if it doesn't bring us to the POC, for us it was coverage and kind of which clouds do we support and which data stores do we support, which kind of key enterprise functionality we have. And if it doesn't win us the actual POC, how do we show value as quick as we can when we kind of get in compared to other products in the markets? And my market was especially congested. So that's kind of one key point that I always kind of work with the entrepreneurs to kind of bring forward. And the other piece of it, in my markets that kind of grew super quickly and super fast and kind of was very congested, it's all about execution. Now, when we started seeing how the market is evolving, we just executed faster than others. We hired quicker. We had the ability to hire better because we were second-time founders. And we just wouldn't accept like losing a POC. That to us was a key thing. And I think we just ran a little bit faster than others. And that's kind of the key to the success, at least in our market.
And one more thing on those 2-3 years, October 7th happened, the war happened, but we had COVID at the beginning of that period. We had the market slowdown. We have the political situation in Israel. We had a lot of noise around us during this, the difficult enough journey of building a company. And for both of you and your co-founders, it's not the first time. So you have some good perspective. Ofer, you founded a company before, Dan as well, and your co-founders have built companies that were acquired. Was there anything different this time around, the second time you're doing such a journey?
Apart from the fact that the other time I didn't have you and Nadav. Look, I think as a second-time entrepreneur, at least for me, I've always put the bar much, much higher for every single thing, which is, by the way, good and bad, right? So the good is you always aim higher in every single activity. You move faster, you work faster. Typically, you do a little bit less amount of mistakes. The negative part of it is that you are never happy. So whatever happens, you're not happy, right? Because always the bar is unachievable. Always you are frustrated saying, well, last time it took me 6 months. No reason not to do it now in 6 days, right? So I think this is the key differentiator. And one thing, by the way, that I would try to mix probably in the thing, if there would be a third time, it would be, hey, let's try to be a bit reasonable with myself. Otherwise, I'll not survive it.
We'll see about that.
So first off, as second-time entrepreneurs, everything is a little bit easier. But as Ofer said, a little bit harder because you're a bit hard on yourself. But first off, we had good funds. We had good funds that kind of pushed us forwards. I don't think that we had that in the first round, at least in my first journey. I think the ability of having the village that kind of Team8 brings, I think, is like phenomenal. On the other aspect of it...
That's our cue.
And on the other aspect of it, I think that we were just able to hire better talent, move a little bit faster, make less mistakes. And maybe the last thing that I at least did differently is we knew when to celebrate even the small things. So I always say to entrepreneurs, take mental snapshots of kind of big successes that you have. Typically, it's not easy to kind of celebrate or find the time to celebrate even if kind of you do something big. And I think that kind of created a culture of constantly winning, constantly succeeding, and kind of something that is always super, super hard to do. So.
All right. Dan, Ofer, working with you for the last 2 or 3 years was a lot of joy, and we're very proud of what you guys have done, and kudos on the success. And we look forward to continue collaborating. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Everybody has a dream. One of my dreams